At 6:12 p.m., my wife Nora texted me, "Girls' dinner tonight, don't call me." I smiled because she'd been planning the evening for days. But there was one detail she didn't know. An hour earlier, I'd had coffee with her best friend, Jenna. Jenna had asked to meet me privately and had spent nearly 40 minutes looking nervous before finally saying, "I think Nora is hiding something from you." She showed me several messages between Nora and a man named Elliot. I didn't know what to believe. Before I could ask more questions, Nora sent her message. I stared at my phone and wondered whether Jenna had just given me the answer. I didn't call Nora. I didn't confront her. Instead, I asked Jenna why she had shown me the messages. She said she'd discovered them accidentally and had struggled for weeks with whether to tell me. She insisted she wasn't trying to destroy our marriage. She simply couldn't watch me continue believing everything was normal. The messages suggested Nora and Elliot had been meeting privately for several months. There were affectionate comments, late-night conversations, and plans that clearly weren't business-related. Jenna said she had confronted Nora about them. Nora had denied everything and told her to stay out of the marriage. Jenna finally decided that staying silent felt worse. I went home and sat quietly in the living room. Nora's message remained on my screen. "Don't call me." I didn't know whether she was actually going to dinner with friends or meeting Elliot. Around 8:30, Jenna called again. She said Nora had contacted her asking whether they'd met that afternoon. I asked what she told her. Jenna said she hadn't lied. She told Nora the truth. My stomach tightened. 10 minutes later, Nora called me. Her voice sounded different. She asked, "Did Jenna come see you?" I answered honestly, "Yes." Silence. Then she said, "I'll be home soon." Nora arrived less than 20 minutes later. She walked through the door and immediately asked what Jenna had told me. I placed the messages on the table. Nora stared at them and started crying. She admitted she had been talking to Elliot for months. She said their relationship had begun innocently but gradually crossed boundaries. I asked whether she had slept with him. She hesitated before saying yes. The answer hurt, but I wasn't surprised anymore. What hurt most was realizing how many times she'd looked me in the eye and told me nothing was wrong. She said she had planned to tell me eventually. I asked why she had needed an eventually when she knew every day that she was betraying my trust. She said she was afraid of losing me. I told her that fear didn't protect our marriage. It only protected the secret. She cried and said she still loved me. I told her I believed that. But love didn't make her actions harmless. She had chosen another relationship while expecting me to remain completely loyal and unsuspecting. Then I asked why she'd come home early. She finally admitted she had canceled the dinner because Jenna had told her she'd spoken to me. She had become afraid that I already knew everything. I told her that was the first honest reason she'd given me all evening. She looked ashamed. I wasn't happy that she'd been frightened. I simply wanted her to understand that the secrecy had become more dangerous than the truth. The moment she realized someone else knew, the entire story she'd constructed collapsed. The next morning, Nora asked whether Jenna and I had been romantically involved. I almost laughed. She was asking because she'd seen us together and immediately imagined the worst. I told her we had coffee because Jenna was trying to warn me about her affair. Nora apologized for assuming otherwise. Then I told her something important. Now you know exactly how it feels when the person you trust most gives you a reason to question everything. She lowered her eyes. I wasn't trying to punish her. I wanted her to understand why trust mattered. Nora moved into the guest room while we decided what to do. She ended all contact with Elliot and agreed to counseling. I told her I wasn't promising reconciliation. During our first counseling session, she admitted she'd become emotionally disconnected from our marriage long before the affair began. I admitted that I'd also become distant. We'd stopped talking about our frustrations and started living beside each other instead of with each other. But the counselor helped us understand that emotional distance explained the vulnerability. It didn't excuse the betrayal. Jenna became uncomfortable after everything came out. She apologized for becoming involved but said she didn't regret telling me. I thanked her. She had risked losing her friendship with Nora because she believed I deserved to know. Nora was furious with her at first, but eventually admitted that Jenna had done what she couldn't. She had forced the truth into the open. Over time, the hostility faded. Jenna remained a friend, although I made sure our relationship stayed respectful and clearly defined. Months passed. Nora and I continued counseling. She became more honest, even when the truth was uncomfortable. I stopped pretending I was fine whenever I wasn't. We learned to discuss problems before they became resentments. Trust didn't return quickly. Some days I still remembered the messages and felt angry. Nora accepted that. She never asked me to get over it. Instead, she understood that rebuilding trust required patience. Nearly a year later, Nora and I returned to the cafe where Jenna and I had met. Nora looked at the table and said, "This is where everything changed, isn't it?" I nodded. She said she hated that her betrayal had brought us there, but she was grateful the truth had finally come out. I told her the cafe wasn't what changed our marriage. The truth did. The coffee simply became the moment we stopped pretending everything was fine. Nora's original message had sounded simple: "Girls' dinner tonight, don't call me." She probably expected me to respect her space and ask no questions. Instead, I'd already heard the truth from the person she trusted most. Then Nora came home early because she realized the secret was no longer safe. We eventually rebuilt our marriage, but the lesson stayed with both of us. A marriage doesn't collapse because someone discovers the truth. It collapses when people decide the truth is something their spouse doesn't deserve. Jenna's coffee invitation wasn't the betrayal. It was the beginning of the honesty we'd been missing.